the Hellmouth. Hope everybody's 5x5. This is Major Slayage, Ket and Arik rewatch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My name is Arik, and to my right, your left, my laudable, lovely, lively, loquacious, learned, library-loving, lounge lizard, laugh riot of a wife and co-host. You know her as half the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket Stay Alive. Maybe give it up for the legendary Lauren Ketryn Porter Martin.
Okay, that was my favorite one. Way to go.
Yeah.
Also, what does laudable mean?
Worthy of praise, worthy of accolades.
And loquacious is talkative, right?
Yes. All true.
This is your vocabulary lesson for the day.
I thought you might prickle at lounge lizard, but I just
No.
You love a nap.
I love a nap. I love, yeah. And
I didn't want to call you a layabout. So.
No, I mean, honestly, I'd take it. I love to lay. I love to sleep. I love to be a lounge lizard. I do also sometimes feel like a lizard when it's very hot because everyone around me is sort of like dying. Like they're just like, it's so hot. Where I check in with myself when it's really hot. And if I haven't checked in, I find that I'm just like very still. Like I'm literally just like a lizard on a rock who's just like sitting in the hot air. It won't be that I notice how hot it is until you walk into a room where I am and you're like, do you want a fan? And I'm like, well, I didn't. I was like in the zone. I was in my little lizard space. And then I don't notice that it's hot until you point it out to me. So I think I might be a lizard.
Is that your marital grievance that I sometimes disrupt your lizard space?
No, I have a different one.
Oh, buckle up, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 2, Episode 12, Bad Eggs. Eggs. What'd you think of this one?
It's so fun.
It was great.
Again, like I'm just rewatching these and I know what my favorite episodes are. Those are the ones that I think of. And I remember this episode and just kind of being like, oh, that was silly. But like, again, when I'm watching it critically, I enjoy it so much more.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And yet, and this is another Monster of the Week, which I would have said, oh, I don't like the Monster of the Week episodes. Totally here for it.
And I think if it's a good episode, you like it just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this
silly.
one. I think that sometimes I'm very critical of this show, and I think we'll continue to be if it strikes me that way. But I will say...
That's how we love. Arik and I are critical of the things we love.
Yes, very. Yeah, buckle up for our marital grievance segment. You're about to see that in vivid Technicolor. I will say this. Even though they don't always execute... Although this season's been more good than bad, the premises that they've generated to keep cranking out, like they're doing 22 episodes this season, and we occasionally check in with the big arc, but then to come up with these metaphors for teenage life as personified by monsters, even like Inca Mummy Girl was a great premise. I thought it was a shit episode, but it was such a creative idea. Same with a lot of these things. So the idea that this is an example of a premise that was really clever and they executed it. They knocked it out of the park. So that just makes it really fun. Also, as a partner in a deliberately childless couple, I appreciated the not so subtle comparison of parenthood and equating that to being a mindless automaton.
Yeah. And like, I don't even mean that as an insult, just like the amount of energy that it sucks out of you to no longer be your own first priority.
And I think in addition to that, the decision to be a parent, I think so many people take it for granted. They make that decision without thinking about it because society has just sort of set that up as the default. So I don't know if that was intended. As someone who's in our position, I was like, oh yeah, I'm on board with this.
Yeah. And I also, as
nothing against our parents out there, we need people to have kids, but that's not going to be us.
Yeah. And I also, my best friend is pregnant right now. Kim is pregnant. Arik and I are about to be auntie and uncle. And one of the things that I so admire about Kim is, we're slightly on the older side for having kids based on historical tradition of when people were having kids in previous generations. But what I find is all of my friends who currently have kids, they all made very deliberate, thought out decisions. Nobody just went up, this is the next thing I do.
Right.
Nobody did that. Even my friends who did have kids maybe at a more traditional age all had like very intentional thought behind it.
Mhm.
And so I do think we're going to have like a really great generation of parents.
I think that's true too. I don't think my parents gave it a thought.
Yeah.
They had me when they were 23 because that was what was expected.
Yeah.
And look how I turned out. No, just kidding. Do you want to do a spell for us?
So a little bit different. I didn't do a specific spell, but because this is called Bad Eggs, eggs are extremely prevalent in witchcraft. And Sunnydale is going to have a lot of leftover eggshells. So I thought I would let everyone know how they might be able to use these eggshells. And I'm going to tell you magical uses for them, and also practical. Thank you. Practical uses for them. So one thing is all of the egg symbolism that we know from like Judeo-Christian tradition of it being, at Easter time and all of that is co-opted from pagan religions that obviously had a much more literal symbolism of eggs, fertility, springtime, hatching, like that kind of thing. It was directly tied to the earth. So a lot of the use of eggshells in spell work has to do with that. It's a beautifully literal ingredient in witchcraft, which I love. So for instance, it is used as protection, literally a shell protecting the vulnerable thing inside. So you can crush up eggshells, and rather than using like a salt protection circle,
Ooh,
you can use crushed up eggshells
I didn't
as
know
protection.
that. That's really cool.
And some people actually also do divination with the egg whites and yolks, where you crack it open and you sort of see what images or how it plays out when it spreads.
Kind of read the egg, as it were.
Yeah. And then obviously eggshells and eggs are used in fertility and renewal spells constantly, because that's quite literally what's happening. And then some people also will craft amulets out of them. So crush up eggshells and maybe put them into a little jar, wear it around their neck for protection, things like that. In ancient times, people also used to, this is really cool. This is where I love how the magic and the practical is symbiotic and goes together. So in ancient agricultural pagan times, to promote abundant crops, they would sprinkle eggshells across the fields. Guess what is also a fantastic fertilizer because it's so nitrogen heavy? Eggshells. So you can literally use eggshells in your fertilizer.
Well, we do. We
do.
Put them into our compost box, and they
Exactly.
get used in all the soil that you end up potting all of our lovely plants in.
Yeah. So eggshells are actually one of my favorite witchcraft ingredients because of how
on the nose it is, but also like how many real world uses they have.
Exactly. So that's how Sunnydale can utilize all of their broken eggshells.
So many eggs.
Yeah.
All right.
They're going to have bountiful crops in Sunnydale next season.
Wanted to just take a second to shout out a creator in the Buffy space who actually gave us a shout out.
Next up, we have Major Slayage, which is Ket and Arik. They are lifelong soulmates rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer in preparation for the requel series. Yes, they are couples goals, and they are huge Buffy fans.
She's on TikTok as The Final Girl. Buffy's her favorite show, and she does a ton of Buffy content, and it's all really smart and thoughtful, and she's got a big following, and she listed like her favorite Buffy podcasts. We are one of many in this space, and she singled us out, and so I just wanted to point everyone here in her direction as well, so you can follow her. I'll put the name right up here. Go check her out on TikTok. Her stuff's awesome. And thanks for noticing us. It felt really validating to have someone who's so big in this game to go like, oh, and also like these guys are doing the thing. So just very grateful to have been included.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying this, we're going to ask for your help. We really need to spread the word about this show. We've got a lovely community here, and we'd love to invite more people to the party. So the best thing you can do for us is to share this with someone. You made fun of me saying email it to them. You can email it. You can text message it. You can post a clip or something to your stories or on your social media. Anything you can do to just help us spread the word really helps us out a lot. Another thing you can do, cost
Have
you
a
nothing.
watch party.
Oh my God! Invite your friends over and watch us wax idiotic about Buffy. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do that costs nothing is just click like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Leave us a comment, and when we get to our Sunnydale High Yearbook committee at the end where we pick our superlatives for the episode, we want you guys to weigh in as well. So please just interact with this video, and if you're listening on a podcast app, 5-star rating, leave a comment if applicable. Just anything you can do to help spread the word about this would just mean the world to us and just really help us grow this community so we can all enjoy this show together.
So that we can keep making it. I mean, truly, from a practical standpoint, Arik specifically puts well over 40 hours a week into this.
It kind of did become a full-time job. Yeah.
So from a very practical and wifely perspective, please help us get the word out about this show, because I am now a Major Slayage widow most of the time, and
this is the most quality time we get to have throughout the week.
I would like it to be worthwhile. So please, he puts a lot of work into it. He does incredible work. All of the reason that these episodes are so funny is not because of me. It is because of all the editing work that he does. So,
well, you're also very funny.
Well, yes.
But if you do want to help us out even more, you want to support us, for $5 a month, we have a Patreon. There we post our watch along video where we're watching the episode before we record this, especially these early seasons I'm seeing for the first time in decades. We also do a mini-sode where we do a little deep dive into every episode starting with season 2. Fun facts, behind the scenes stuff, lore, goofs, things you guys share, we share with everybody. They're just a little extra Ket and Arik if you're enjoying this and you want a little bit more. All that for $5 a month. And that's the end of our sales pitch. I feel like I'm on PBS. Like, you
right.
got to get on there and beg for money.
Yes. God, I hated the NPR pledge drive. I hated them. I hated them so much, especially when I was on a commute. That's what I would listen to. I would listen to NPR. And I'd be like, no, it's another fundraiser. But at the same time, I respected it.
Right.
But I just felt so bad for
sorry for subjecting you all to Ketryn's least favorite thing in the world. But just it helps us out so much. You can't know how much it means when we get your comments, when we see likes and things like that.
And the bigger we are, the less often we have to beg you for pledge.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Yeah.
This program is also made possible by financial support from viewers like you.
All right, let's get into this.
I had a marital grievance.
Oh, I was trying to skip over that. I was hoping you wouldn't notice. Here we go. Yeah, our favorite / least favorite segment, marital grievances.
So, full disclosure, you haven't done this recently that stood out to me and annoyed me, but I was very triggered by this episode. Because Arik has this really annoying habit of throwing everything up into the air. I even mean his food. And I don't even know if he knows he does this. He doesn't put things into his mouth. He throws them into his mouth, namely popcorn, and his accuracy is not 100. But he also throws water bottles, and I will literally be like, please don't throw that, and he'll be like, and he'll do it anyway, and then he'll drop it or knock something over or whatever, and I just have to glare, and I'm just like, go outside, play with a ball outside, go play with your ball outside, please stop throwing things. And in this episode, Xander is throwing his fucking egg up in the air. And guess who fucking drops it? You will always drop it.
I at least had the good sense while we were doing the watch along to call myself out and acknowledge that this is in fact a thing I do.
Yes.
But it's funny you say I haven't done it in a while. Probably 2 or 3 days ago, I was bringing in laundry and we had the little foam balls that go in the dryer. and I was juggling those, and I'm not a skilled juggler. So those were, they spent more time on the floor than they did in the air. And I was trying to get you to look at me like I was 5 years old. Like, hey, watch this. Oh, oops. Let me start again.
And
okay, last time.
And he did that like 12 times. Like he'd be like, no, this time. No, I'm going to get it this time. This time. But who's the asshole? Because I just stood there watching.
Yeah. But I love that you don't remember that even happened. So
I know. I blocked it out.
Well, I think that's a valid grievance. I have no excuse. I just like throwing things and tossing things, and it's not a good reason, but it's a reason.
All right. Well, I appreciate your honesty that it's super fucking annoying.
I throw myself on the mercy of the court.
Okay.
I plead no contest.
Short sentence. I don't know. What do they say? I couldn't think of the court
Time
term.
served.
Time served. There we go.
All right. Let's get into it. You want to take us through this one?
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. Bad eggs.
We start with Buffy and Joyce at the mall, and unfortunately, the show starts with my least favorite line. I feel like that happened the last episode too, so I'll tell you about it when we get to superlatives.
I don't remember what the first line was.
Well, don't think too hard because then it'll be a surprise. But they're walking around the mall, and it made me very nostalgic for mall culture. I don't know if well, no, I think you did.
Oh
like,
my God, we were obsessed with the mall.
Yeah,
we would go
and
hang out there.
Yeah.
It was the only chance to meet girls you didn't go to school with.
Right. And it was also the only time that, like, at least in our day, where like parents kind of felt comfortable dropping you off at the mall and picking you up at the mall later. Like, it was sort of like there's enough people around that like parents felt safe with their kids.
Which sounds crazy.
Which
totally
sounds
get
nuts,
from
but
a mall,
but it you know, just mall culture we don't really have anymore. And it was a great opportunity for kids to sort of learn how to socialize and interact with each other. That's a whole other thing.
Well, what I meant by girls you didn't go to school with is they didn't have the baggage of knowing what a dork you were from school.
Right.
It was a clean slate. You got to meet them and make a first impression.
Yes.
Arcades, going to Sam Goody, going into Spencer's. And
yes.
all
Hot Topic.
All the inappropriate stuff they sold there with all like the mugs with boobs on them. And
yeah.
stuff like that.
I bet you love that. The mall's about to close. They're going to go to the food court, but Joyce sends Buffy to go pick up her suit, whatever, from Everyday Woman.
Right.
Also,
they're having a discussion about an outfit that Joyce is not going to allow Buffy to buy because she says it made her look like a streetwalker. And I'm like, what must this outfit have been? Because based on what we've seen Buffy wear, she always looks stunning, but she
wears some short ass skirts.
She looks like a stripper a lot of the time, or a sex worker.
Hi. I'm an enormous slut.
So what was this, just like a sling bikini? Like, what are we talking about?
However, one thing we don't do on this show is shame women for how they dress.
No, I was saying she looks amazing. I'm just saying I can't imagine how racy, how scandalous
it had to have been.
It had to have been for Joyce to put her foot down there.
Yeah. So Buffy is on the escalator and she sees some weird ass cowboy dude getting canoodly with some chick. There's a mirror on the wall and she sees that the chick is alone in the reflection. And so she's like, oh, damn.
I know what this means.
Vampy vamp. So she makes a detour and finds these two in the abandoned arcade. I mean, it's not abandoned, but like arcades at the mall were like very full.
They were popping, and it doesn't seem likely they would have closed before like the stores closed.
Yeah,
but if anything, they might have stayed open later.
Exactly. But nevertheless, they're in there by themselves, and Buffy clears the girl out. They have a fight, and he ends up running off. Like, he kind of realizes that he's bested.
He knows she's the Slayer.
Knows she's the Slayer, and runs off. Buffy goes to meet Joyce, but of course got distracted. Doesn't have the suit that Joyce asked her to pick up, but she can't say why. Mm-hmm. This feels frustrating. This would be frustrating. Like, this requires a level of patience on Buffy's part that I did not possess as a 16-year-old.
Which she even lets out the pressure a little bit because she's like, what are you thinking about? And she's like, saving the world from vampires.
Saving the world
like,
from vampires. Yeah, I love that. She gets that
little joke that's got the truth in it because it's eating a hole in her to not say what's going on with her.
Yeah, this specific aspect of being a Slayer would have been my immediate downfall. I would have immediately told my parents that I was a Slayer. I could not.
Well, you have a really good relationship with your parents and you tell them everything. I would have struggled with this as well because I can't keep secrets. I start trying to give you your Christmas presents in November.
Yeah. So. November, July. Yeah. So, but I just wouldn't, to this day, I have physical pain trying to like hold things in. So I don't. Cut to Zordelia making out in the broom closet, and they still are ribbing each other in a way that only works because they rib each other so equally.
Yeah, they're so equally matched and they're so both irritated with each other.
Yeah, because Xander's comments alone are very misogynistic and not cool. The only reason that they work is because Cordelia is such a bitch back. But they can't even bear to not make out with each other. They both get mad at each other, try to leave, and then keep making
right back
out.
to it. And I pointed out in the watch along too that what's fun about this is that she's not with him for status. She's not with him for popularity. She's with him because she's attracted to him and she's horny.
Yeah.
And he scratches an itch.
Which is very cute.
They can't stay away from each other. And I think that's adorable.
Yeah, it's very cute. What is less cute is sex ed class.
You alluded to this in the watch along that you've taught a sex ed class before when you were subbing, but you didn't go into details. Tell me about this.
It was a harrowing experience, and I'll tell you why. It's not for the reason that you think. So yeah,
Is it because modern, like, can I guess?
Sure.
Is it because modern kids are so sexually advanced?
Opposite.
Oh, interesting. That's not what I would have guessed. I would have thought all these kids have been watching porn since they were 11 on their phones.
So, well, yes and no. So I'll tell you. First of all, I was specifically like requested to sub in this class. I think because when they called to place the order, it was like, this is an uncomfortable order. Do you have someone who's not going to be a fucking weirdo about it? And they were like, yes, we do. So they sent me.
You're a weirdo, but not about this.
Yeah. Like it's more that like, I know how to talk about sensitive topics in a way that is educational, not embarrassing.
You aren't squeamish about it.
I'm not squeamish about it. I know how to like not shame kids. It's, so the talking about it was easy to me. Like when you're teaching a sex ed class, you have to be very frank in order to set the tone. Because if you are also uncomfortable while all of the kids are inevitably giggling, that's where it becomes an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, it's very combustible.
Yeah. What concerned me was the lack of real world understanding. So I'm not necessarily saying that these kids haven't been watching porn, but porn is not sex.
Real, yeah.
It's so if that is your only exposure to it, you don't actually totally understand all of the ins and outs. And porn also doesn't teach you about sexual reproduction or, gender identity or sexual identity or how the science of sex works and what your body is doing, right? Because sex ed isn't just about you put the hot dog in the donut hole
and you shake it all about.
Yeah, it's about what's happening to my body? Why am I feeling this way? What's going on?
What are the hormones? What are the emotions?
Exactly.
All of that stuff,
And so that was concerning to me. The level of questions that they asked me that were wildly remedial made me very concerned.
Do you remember having these conversations with your friends, not because anyone was having sex, younger than that, but they thought they'd figured out a piece of it, and maybe from an older sister or a sibling or a friend's brother or sister? Do you remember any of those like weird misconceptions that you had? Because I can remember two specifically that just sound so crazy.
I can't. What are yours?
So one, because most of us had seen Playboy, but hadn't seen like gynecologically specific porn at that point. We had long discussions about where the opening of the vagina actually was, because there was everyone had hair back then. So is it directly in? Is it underneath? How do you get where is it placed on the Barbie doll? And pure speculation, because nobody knew for sure.
Right.
So no, it wouldn't make sense. But your boner kind of goes like this. But how does it get in there if it's like couldn't figure
it out? Yeah.
Also, I had a friend who was convinced that sex was you put it in and you just lay there.
Wow.
There's no movement. There's no humping and pumping. and thought we were all crazy. We're like, what do you mean you move it? No, that's it. You put it in and that's sex. And we're just like,
his poor partners. His poor partners.
So yeah, I
Gosh.
just remember having those, like, being 13 and trying to figure out what the fuck any of it was. You have these urges and you have these attractions to girls and you don't have any idea what any of it, how any of it works. I look back on those two specific conversations and it just makes me laugh.
Yeah, I actually am remembering this now. I felt so comfortable, and I did it for 5 days. It was like a multi-day thing, and I found myself so comfortable, not even comfortable. Like it just, I don't.
As a matter of fact.
Matter of fact, I don't struggle to talk about that kind of stuff. Yet again, another reason why I think being a theater major really prepares you for life events that you don't realize it's going to prepare you for. I was so concerned about how those classes went and how surprised they were at my ability to talk about it. It sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm just.
She's a very gifted teacher and mentors teenagers in a nonprofit. Like her work outside of all of this is very impressive and important, and she's phenomenally gifted at it. So don't let her downplay how good she is at what she does.
Well, thank you. But I actually asked around being like, is there a job that is a traveling sex ed teacher? Where I was just like, I think there's a need for this. And unfortunately, there's not. Like, it's not something that you could make money doing. But
Harold Hill going town to town.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so we're in sex ed. Xander and Cordelia are biting back at each other, but obviously not using each other's names. So the whole point of this is that they have to carry around an egg for a week. They have to be parents to an uncooked egg.
You asked if we did this. We didn't do this. I never talked to anyone who actually did this. I think this is just something on television shows.
Yeah. I'm curious to anyone who's like older than either of us. I'm looking at you, Peg and Skip. Did you guys have like, because they had like home ec, you know,
right.
Like, is that
we
what
had
this
home
was?
ec, but
we didn't have home ec.
And as I remember it, it was guys did not have to take it, which is just fucking crazy. It was like an elective. Nobody had to take it.
I have to leave.
But it was I almost exclusively girls that took home ec in my high
fuck?
school. And that was only the 9th. That was just honestly, like, I'm just a couple years older than the kids on Buffy. So
yeah,
I was in high school. I would have been in high school at the same time as these kids. They would have been freshmen when I was a senior.
Well, anyway, I did appreciate that the boys had eggs too. It wasn't just the girls had eggs. All right. I'm taking us on too many tangents. We got to move through this. Apologies
all around.
Buffy missed class. So Willow hands her egg, and Buffy realizes that the way the partnering shook out, she's a single mom.
She's the Joyce.
Like Joyce. I also love that this is the first time we learn that Willow is Jewish, because she says that her egg is Jewish.
My name's Rosenberg. I think we could have done that math.
That's fair. Giles now pops out. So we have this egg situation, but we also have the Gulch Brothers. I kept writing Gulch. It's Gorch.
Yeah.
Okay. The Gulch Brothers. So those are
Gulch sounds Western. They're kind of cowboy vampires.
Yeah, that's
where you're getting.
So she's like, these Gulch Brothers, Gulch Brothers knew who I was.
They could just be the Gulch Brothers.
Yeah,
that's fine.
They're the Gulch Brothers. And Willow is like, maybe Angel can help you find them. And, you know, Xander makes some comment about they must not get very much slaying done. And Buffy's like, yes, we do. And then cut to them not getting much slaying done in the cemetery.
Yeah, smash cut to them smashing.
Yeah. And the Gulches are watching like complete creeps. Total creepos.
They're over there on the cuck wall.
Yeah, so gross. And they're talking about wanting to attack her. Lyle is telling Tector, his brother Tector, which would definitely be in that Facebook group I follow.
I was just about to say.
That they want to wait till she's alone because she's the Slayer. That night, Buffy is checking off her egg list. Did she change her egg's diaper? And I just wrote, this is dumb. However, it was not dumb that she named her egg Eggbird. That's fantastic. If it was a girl, I would name my egg Eglantine. Eglantine is a real name. That's the name of Angela Lansbury's character in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Does that mean a real name?
Yes, her name is Eglantine.
I know it exists, but is anyone else named that?
For sure.
Eglantine.
I will look up the meaning of Eglantine for
Okay.
a trivia crypt. It's got to be like I bet it's like an old, like towards the Saxon times. Like it sounds like it's an old ass name. Later that night, Buffy's asleep and we see her egg is going like this. Do I look like an egg?
Yes,
When I
you're
do this?
very
And then
Eglantine.
And then a little thingy pokes out.
Little
And
tendril.
goes tentacle and goes into her ear
Mhm.
and doesn't wake her up.
The
So
very
it's
Wrath
doing
of Khan.
something. Yeah, so yucky. Now we cut back to see what the Gulch Brothers are doing. And these guys are dumbos because here's the thing. They've been around for a minute. They've been around since at least, the Wild Wild West
Yeah, I think Giles
times.
says they wiped out an entire village in the 1800s before
they were vampires,
So-
right? So their big massacre isn't even while they're vampires.
Right.
Also, if you're a vampire for at least 5 decades, I expect you to be wealthy. I expect you to have figured out how to not have to sleep in a sewer, which
And
is
eat
what
rats.
eat rats, which is what these two are doing. You should be able to afford at least a Motel 6. So these guys are idiots. They think they're the big bad. They're
Right.
not
No.
at all.
They're big bad with money.
Yeah. So it was funny. They then just start punching each other, which I loved. Because rather than, they're having an argument or something, but they don't really like have a fight or like wrestle. They just take turns punching each other.
Like one of those slapping competitions.
Yes, exactly.
And they also, this didn't get my worst line, but it could have. One of them says, "I'm going to beat you like a redheaded stepchild." Don't ever put that in your script.
Yeah.
That's been said. That's been in 700 movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Do
It's
better.
also
Do
like,
better.
it's also, I find it interesting when it's in American scripts or that's like an American trope that we see in scripts, because for those of you that don't know, having red hair in the UK is like an actual thing that people insult other people about. Like, you do not want to be a ginger in the UK.
So they're born without souls or something, right? Isn't that the
Something
lore?
like that. Yeah. And so the redheaded stepchild makes more sense to me in like a more archaic UK context, but like Americans don't have a problem with red hair. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't, it's a dumb thing to say.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
would
dumb
agree.
analogy. Buffy wakes up the next morning very groggy, but untentacled. The tentacle appears to have slithered back into the shell. Buffy's very cranky. Joyce loves that Buffy is a single mom to an egg. She's getting a little bit ribby about it, which I loved. We then cut to Buff Zillow in the library, and for sure, Billow is very sluggish. Very sluggish. And
They've
and
come
it's-
down with the case of the teenagers.
Yes, and it's very noticeable in Willow, especially because Willow is very hyper, I would say.
She's never been surly.
Yeah. And they're so sluggy. But guess who's not sluggy? Xander.
Right.
He's up in the stacks. He's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed,
Flinging his egg around.
flinging his egg around. And he accidentally drops it and it doesn't break. This motherfucker boiled his goddamn egg, which is definitely something this asshole would do as well. You for sure would have boiled your egg.
I don't think I would have. I think,
Really?
No, I think I would have bought into the idea that I can't cook my child. So no, I don't think I would have done that. I very likely did not get through the week without cracking the fucking thing open
That part.
through carelessness. But
That part.
I don't think it would have occurred to me to cook it.
You would have dropped
would've
it
gotten out of
on
the
your
day.
way out of the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cordy then comes in and she is Scooby Dude. She is like, "We have a problem. Mr. Whitmore didn't show up to class." And everyone's like, "Okay." And she's like, "We should probably check some closets, Xander." And they go check some closets. It's very cute.
We're gonna get the full line in all its glory later in the show.
So back to oh, now we're back at the cemetery again. So we're patrolling again. Bangel, though it came out as Bangle in my notes.
Well, in this
Bangle,
episode, that feels more appropriate.
yeah. They're making out in the cemetery again. And Buffy is really tired. She didn't get a good sleep because she was being scoped out by an alien. And so Angel says that he'll hunt for her. This was very coupley.
Mm-hmm.
I love this aspect of them. I remember when I was a little kid, I had a crush in second grade on this boy, this boy named Chucky Paul. His name was Chucky Paul, and I had a big crush on him. And I remember I would have these like little kid fantasies of like kissing him and things. But my fantasies were never like making out. They were always him giving me a quick peck on the cheek on his way to work.
As you hand him his briefcase.
Yes. Yes. And so like I was always very into the familiarity and the comfortability of a relationship, even as like a teeny tiny little kid, which I think is so cute because one of the things that I love about you the most is how I feel alone when I'm with you, but as
Explain
a compliment.
that, because that sounds like a dig, but I know you don't mean it as such.
There is no part of me that I don't feel comfortable letting spread out in the room when Eric is around. So I feel as free with who I am as I do when I'm all alone.
Yeah, you've described it to me as I don't put any additional drain on your social battery.
Correct.
Being around me is indistinguishable from being by yourself in terms of that.
Yeah. I mean, you drain other batteries, but not that one. So I don't know why I started talking about. Because Angel and Buffy are getting so comfortable with each other, and I love it. But Buffy does bring up kids, not in like a real way, just kind of in like a
pie in the sky.
And this is where we get the first glimpse into the logistics of this relationship. And it does, not only can Angel presumably not have kids, though the Twilight vampires do. I don't think he's tried.
Right. Yeah, I'm certain he has not tested this theory.
But there's also the added thing that like he doesn't age and she will, and eventually if they did have kids, his kids would be older than him. Like that he would outlive his own child. Like that's a whole fucking thing.
I mean, as not to get too serious with it, we just had to say goodbye to our dog. And the deal with pets is you're going to outlive them.
Right.
But when you have your own offspring, the natural order of events is that they will outlive you.
Right.
But for an eternal being, that is not the case. Unless his kids
are vampy,
half vampy.
Interesting.
So maybe, but then they got to grow. They don't stay a baby
They
forever.
can't stay a baby. Maybe that's the human part is the one that grows, but then when do they stop?
Yeah, when they hit adolescence. Like, we got a trivia crypt. We just opened a can.
We got to get into this.
Just opened a whole egg of worms.
Here's what I want to do. Rather than researching it, because it's all made up anyway, I want you and I to create our own lore about how this would work. We'll see how close it is.
Okay.
But we'll presume that Buffy can get pregnant by Angel, and we'll hypothesize how that would work and all of the ways that would happen. And we'll share that in Trivia Crypt.
And the sharing of genes.
Yes.
And are they full vamp? Is there certain aspects of being a vampire that they wouldn't have? Oh yeah.
All right. So we're both going to present
dueling lore.
Yeah. And then you guys can vote on which one you like better.
Okay.
We then cut to the school at nighttime, and there's a security guard there. He hears something down in the basement, and we see that there's like a giant hole in the wall.
You might
Gaping.
say.
Yeah. And so he shines a flashlight in and then is pushed in by none other than Mr. Whitmore, the sex ed teacher.
Pushes him in with a pickaxe.
Yeah. And we're like, oh no. So this whole time we think the Gulch Brothers are going to be the big bad. There appears to be something else bubble and toiling in the... What am I saying? Moving on.
Swing and a miss.
Cut to Buffy coming in her window. Luckily, Buffy, keeps odd hours. Otherwise, our Slayer would have been killed by a really dumb thing. But it makes you realize, like, how many Slayers must have just died by, like, the dumbest ass demon. And it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I know. I talked about this. I saw a discussion online where someone was like, if you think about it, Buffy wasn't even a Slayer for 2 years before she died the first time, which is the way this usually goes.
Especially if they don't have Xanders and Angels and Willows to help them. The only reason she came back is because Xander could do CPR. So it's like, we have to presume that the shelf life of a Slayer is 18 months, something like that, or, you know, and that they're not all dying in like some really awesome epic battle.
Right.
You know, some are dying because an egg crawled into their ear, which sucks. So she comes in through the window and she sees Egbert starting to crack open again. And this creepy crawly scorpion alien type thing comes out. She chases it around the room, stabs it with scissors, and then she calls...
Or she tries to iron it.
Yeah, she does try to iron it flat. It was wrinkly. She then calls Willow to be like, yo, smash your egg. Willow's like, my egg's fine. She has a really good suggestion where she's like, maybe it's a trap that the Gulch Brothers set for you. She hangs up the phone and we see that her egg is cracked open and she's dead-faced, drone-faced. But we have another issue because Buffy woke up Joyce. Joyce comes in and Buffy has no excuse for why she is fully dressed, which I was disappointed by. I was like, Buffy, you go out every single night. You didn't have a chambered lie about why you're dressed for when Joyce would inevitably catch you at some point.
She should have either patrolled in athleisure wear that could pass for pajamas or keep a stash of pajamas in the bushes outside the house and change before you break in.
Rookie move, Buff. So
Joyce is pissed.
Joyce is so pissed. And I loved how they did this cut. So she starts reading Buffy the Riot Act, and then it just cuts to her continuing the riot act on the way to school.
You are grounded for the rest of your natural life.
Which means no after-school socializing, no bronze, no nothing. Not until I say so.
So she's probably been yelling at her for hours.
For hours, yeah. So, you know, Buffy's like, womp womp. She's talking to Cordy and she's asking like, hey, did your egg do anything weird? Cordy, in true Cordelia fashion, says, it's an egg, Buffy. It doesn't emote, which is so funny.
And she's dressed up like Anakin Skywalker in this in like black leather, but she's got this really cute teddy bear backpack, but then they backload a bunch of dialogue about why she's wearing a teddy bear backpack and it doesn't really go anywhere. So it seemed like we probably didn't. She could have just had a purse backpack.
Though that does always bother me, like in teen shows where kids either don't have backpacks or they have backpacks that no books fit into.
Right.
Where I'm just like, we had backpacks that were like the size of us.
Oh my God. I had a dump truck on my back.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Xander is then, you know, sitting on a
bench.
stoop, a bench, whatever.
A stoop.
I don't know. And he doesn't like the snack he's eating. So he says, well, I do love a hard-boiled egg, which I do as well. I made 6 hard-boiled eggs after watching this episode because I love a hard-boiled egg and it made me really crave them.
I think this scene here is going to put me off hard-boiled eggs for
quite
9
some time.
to 12 months.
Yeah. So he cracks it open and it's a motherfucking little balled up tentacle ass bitch in there. And we see that there's a little tentacle poking out from Willow's back.
Yeah, she's got herself a tramp stamp.
So we cut to them in the science lab now. They're going to dissect the creepy crawly, figure out what it is. Willow is going to do the dissection. Cordy's there as well. We see a tentacle come out of Cordelia's backpack. And then we also hear Willow explain what's going on with Dr. Whitmore in a way that feels very sympathetic to the creepy crawly parasites.
Right. Also, I just put something together in real time right now. During the watch along, I was bumped that they bothered to like, oh, Giles is busy. He said to start without him. But Willow's the one who says that, and she's droned at that point. So she's trying to keep Giles out of it. Because I thought, that's clunky and weird. Why didn't they want Giles in this scene? But it all makes sense.
Yeah. So, and they also refer to the mother Bazour. A Bazour is an actual thing, I believe, and I will trivia crypt this as well. So Bazours are obviously in Harry Potter, and they are every antidote to poisons and things like that. So you put a Bazour into someone's mouth and it works as a universal antidote. But Bazours are a real thing, and I believe that they are a stone in a goat's belly.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
it sounds like Snoop Dogg trying to say boar.
So Cordillo takes out Bander and throws them in a closet.
With some hapless high school drones. Like they've got some
Yeah.
just randos that are down with the
Droned
cause.
out. Yeah. That's where we cut to a bunch of school drones, and they're all picking up, all of the school supplies of pickaxes that
School
Sunnydale
has a
has.
fucking entire rack of pickaxes.
So many pickaxes. Maybe the Bazour brought them.
I was wondering if it maybe the fucking Gulch Brothers brought them, like from their prospecting days.
From their prospecting days. So now we cut to Joyce coming to pick up Buffy in the library. Buffy 'tis not in the library. She's in a closet, knocked out with Xander. But Giles is in there, and I love scenes between Joyce and Giles, or as we know them, Joyce with a G.
Because we can't do Giles with a J.
Correct.
That's already somebody else. Which also occurred to me. I don't feel like we get Jenny. Jenny's nowhere to be found in this. We don't get Jenny and Joyce both having a lot to do in the same episode, which feels
they're the same person.
I've never seen them
them in the
together.
same room. Yeah.
No, I just think it's a lazy thing where they're just like, we can't give this much attention to these two tertiary characters in the same episode.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Yeah.
But so I always like scenes with these two where they're sort of like, they're basically co-parenting.
Yeah, it's her mom and her surrogate dad.
Yeah, and it's very sweet. I pretty much love every scene with Joyce and Giles, the entire series.
Yeah.
I love, and they become more co-parenty as it goes on. He also has a funny line that didn't make it as my favorite line, so I can share it. But she sees some occult books.
Bristow's Demon Index? Hell's Offspring?
A hobby of mine, but having nothing to do with Buffy in any way.
Which I love. But when Joyce turns her back, we see Giles open a drawer with a creepy crawly in it and put it right on Joyce. And for some reason, I gotta say, Giles was really doing it for me in this episode, and I have no logical explanation for it.
Yeah, he just looks like Giles to me, but his hair frankly looked a little greasy. Like,
I don't know.
This wasn't the finest I've seen Giles look.
But
so
it was just it was
working for you.
It was working for her. I don't know what it was, because I agree with you. There was nothing particularly anything about it, but way to go, Anthony Head. So now we cut to all of them droning out. Giles is droning out. Joyce is droning out. Cordelia, Willow, we're all drones.
And Joyce is whacking the crack in the ground with like the wrong, like not the sharp part of her tool.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Bazour's,
they didn't get any kind of on the job training.
Exactly.
Like you just kind of got thrown into it.
Though you would think that one would be able to suss out, wouldn't need a instruction manual for a pickaxe, but you never know. So Bander wakes up in the closet and they're like, oh shit. Xander accidentally refers to being with Cordelia in a closet. Buffy's like, huh? And he's like, nothing, brain damage, head trauma. And they see that it wasn't just the two of them that were locked in the closet. They locked them in there with two motherfucking eggs so that they'd get droned out too. And Buffy smashes open the door. They go looking for Giles.
Oh, she also crushes the eggs with a toolbox, which was very
crushes
satisfying.
the eggs with a toolbox. Yeah. So she goes looking for Giles. He's not in the library, and she says, "Hell of a time to get a life," which I loved.
Yeah, the zings were zinging in this one. I really liked all the dialogue in this.
Yeah,
with precious few exceptions.
Yeah. So they're trying to remember the word Bazour. They heard Willow say the word Bazour. They are gonna do some research. Giles already has something open to like what a Bazour is.
They didn't have to start from scratch.
Didn't have to start from scratch. Thank you. But then Xander steps on an empty eggshell and is like, "Oh no, we have a Bazoured librarian." All the drones are digging in the basement, pulling more eggs out. I find it so funny that this gigantic size of a room brain just lays teeny tiny little chicken eggs. So cute. That must be an evolutionary thing where it's like we need humans to think that these were laid by a chicken. If they're if they're big, like wrinkly, brain shaped, gooey eggs
that are the size of a porta potty,
yeah,
we're never gonna infest anybody.
Yeah. And we see that it's this big pulsing thing underground. In the library, Bander is reading about it, and we get that this is a prehistoric parasite,
which must have some meaning, but I would think
let's trivia crypt
prehistoric would cover all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's trivia crypt that. Okay. Prehistoric. Let's see if that's an actual thing or if this was created for the show where it's like,
no, it's even older than that.
Yeah, like the first evil, like what we, but it says the mother hibernates underground laying eggs. The offspring then attach themselves to a host, taking control of their motor functions through neural clamping, which gave me the heebie-jeebies. They then are interrupted by Jonathan. Poor Jonathan. Jonathan only comes into these episodes to be fucked with.
Right.
And to be made an example of.
Yeah.
And then
he's almost like Kenny on South Park, where it's like every week he gets completely bullied by whatever the monster
is. Yeah. But he's screaming, oh my God, get it off me. And as soon as they come out, he's like, I'm fine. What are you talking about? Drone face. So they're like, okay, we got a drone to follow. Let's follow Jonathan the drone. So they go into the hole in the basement, and Bander is like, well, we can't let them spread those eggs around. Buffy is like, I need to get a very large weapon. Good thing we have this supply of pickaxes. And Xander says, I'll handle it. Presumably he's going to like keep them from taking the eggs out of the basement initially. I don't know what Xander thinks.
He's going to grab everyone's eggs and toss them in the air till he drops them.
Fuck.
That's what he's going to do.
I bet he is. He definitely is. But he pretends to be a drone.
Which reminded me of Rick and Morty, where they strap the face huggers on and pretend to be droned.
The Gulch Brothers are still in this whole thing.
I totally forgot about these guys.
Which normally it would, I feel like done poorly, this would really bug us. That it's like, why the fuck are the Gulch Brothers here?
This is perfect.
Really great. So,
we had just forgot about them.
Yeah.
And they pop up at the perfect time. It was so fun. And it adds so much chaos to the proceedings.
Yeah. And Buffy's like, this is a bad time. Like, I don't have time to stake you right now. But then what happens is the drones see Buffy and the Gulch Brothers. So at certain points, Buffy and the Gulch Brothers are teamed up.
Yeah, my enemy's enemy is my friend.
Right.
But puts Buffy in this really weird position where she's now going to have to potentially fight her friends and her mom. Mm-hmm. So she can't go full Slayer on them, although she definitely seems some of the kids she doesn't know as well, gives them full Karate Kid to the face.
Yeah, she does. Like this, and I'm just very concerned about the universal head trauma of the entire student body at Sunnydale. Everybody is getting knocked out left and right on a daily basis. So back with Xander, who's following Cordy, because Cordy's got like a tray of eggs. Xander has to punch Cordy, which like I'm not mad at Xander for doing, but it is uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, it's very uncomfortable to watch that. Especially in the context of like knowing some of Nicholas Brennan's behavior post-show.
But they do have him kind of be like, ugh.
Yeah, and in the world of the show, he doesn't draw first blood, but he can't stand there and get knocked unconscious by a drone and let the eggs get out. So his hand is really forced.
Yeah. Back with the parasite, Tector.
What a name.
Tector
you
Gulch.
Fucking trivia crypt that. Is that a real name?
I will. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Tector Gulch looks into the eye of the parasite, the mama bazaar that's under the ground, and she opens up her cat eye, which I thought was very interesting. Mm-hmm. And she shoots out a tentacle and sucks in Tector Gulch. And Lyle is like, no, my brother, and then blames it on Buffy. I'm like, what the fuck did Buffy have to do with this? You're the one who followed her ass in here.
Tell you to come here.
Yeah. Buffy is still fighting. Joyce almost axes Buffy.
And we know she's good with an axe.
We do know she's good with an axe from School Hard.
Yeah, she boinks Spike on the head.
But she also used the side of the axe there too.
Well, she was trying not to murder who she thought was a human drug addict.
We thought so, but
Maybe
now,
she just doesn't know how
I don't
fucking
think she knows
weapons
what the
work.
pointy side of a weapon is.
She just lucked out.
She lucked out. Yeah,
She used the axe to the best of. She was trying to split his head
she
off.
was trying to,
and just doesn't.
just
she's
doesn't get
hapless.
it. Just doesn't get it. Yeah, that's we gave her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think we can anymore.
No, I think we have all the evidence we need.
Yeah. The Bazoar tentacles Buffy. Buffy grabs the pickaxe as she's pulled into the Bazoar. And she fights the Bazoar. We see the eye close, and then we see all of the little creepy crawlies fall off everyone's back, and all of the drones fall to the ground, like you did at CVS last week.
Oh my God. Yeah. We didn't talk about that. I played basketball in the heat. It was the first time we could get everyone together in a long time. So we got together to play ball. And then I went to CVS to pick up a prescription and fucking hit the deck from standing and just bonk. I'm pretty sure I gave myself a concussion. I was very Giles.
Yeah. It was very Giles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were very Giles.
And it was crazy.
Buffy obviously kills the Bazoar, and she's covered in inky goo. Squid-like.
Yeah. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I didn't love the look of this, and this may come up later in the episode. Is it feel like she should have been goo from head to toe. She should have looked like Carrie. Instead, she's just got a few little bits on her arm, and like she was in the belly of this thing whacking away. She should have just looked like Bill Murray
And that would have
from
been
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that would have been fun. So Lyle realizes in this moment that he's outmatched.
He
so
skedaddles.
He runs off, which honestly I loved. It feels very realistic that there would be certain vampires with a sense of self-preservation that are like, I'm outmatched. I'm out of here.
Spike does this move all the time.
All the time. Yeah. So I love that. The drones are now all leaving the school. And you had the question of, are they going to remember? They don't.
Yeah.
Giles is telling everyone that it was a gas leak. A gas leak that made us all walk into a hole in the basement of the boiler room and all hold pickaxes and pass out together.
Yeah, what kind of gas was this specifically?
Right. What kind of gas was this?
What's Sunnydale pumping through the municipal gas line?
Exactly. But unfortunately, Buffy can only tell Joyce what she can tell Joyce. So Joyce thinks that there was a gas leak, but that still doesn't explain prior to the gas leak that Buffy was not in the library where she was supposed to be. So Joyce grounds her for the rest of her life that she can only leave her room to go to school or the bathroom. And Buffy just has to take it.
And again, I feel like quick thinking, and we have the benefit of not being in the moment. Buffy could have been like, yeah, I smelled gas and I went to go call for help.
Yeah.
She
fair.
could have.
Yeah. Buffy does not have a Rolodex of excuses.
Yeah,
and she should.
Well, because she's not a liar. I think that's what it is. I think she feels uncomfortable the amount she has to keep from her mom as it is. I think it's really against her character to be a liar.
I guess for me,
even when she was confronted with when Joyce was trying to cover for her for kicking Ted down the stairs.
Yeah.
She couldn't let Joyce lie for her. She's like, no, I did it.
Yeah, I guess for me, and this, I don't know what this says about me, but like, I don't find lying to be a black and white morality. Like, I'm like, there are plenty of instances where lying is the at the very least inconsequential thing to do, and in some cases the moral thing to do.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I mean, obviously we get the example of the Nazis come to your door and ask if Anne Frank's family is in your attic.
Then you lie.
That's why I think that the phrase honesty is the best policy should be amended to honesty is among the preferred policies.
Exactly. I feel the exact I feel the exact same way. The older I get, the grayer my morality becomes. I've noticed there are very few things that I find black and white.
No, I think I wouldn't say you have morally gray. I wouldn't describe you as morally gray. I would say you have a strong moral core, and that sticking to that code means trumping things that polite society might find morally dubious.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that. Buffy agrees to her punishment, but Angel comes and still makes out with her at night.
I think we found a loophole.
It was very cute. And as you said, it was like, why doesn't Angel just come in? It's like, well, because if Joyce comes in, she can just push him.
Yeah, he can just
and disappear.
Flip out. Versus like you can't hide him under all your stuffed animals on the bed.
Exactly.
If you guys are making out in the bed.
And something tells me that if Joyce were to find a 20-year-old man in your room, she would never ever be let out of her room ever again.
She'll be sealed up in an Iron Maiden.
So that's the end. Shall we do superlatives?
We shall. Meeting of the Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee now in session. What'd you have for best line?
Best line. There were lots of great lines.
So many good lines.
But I loved the instance of Buffy saying,
Saving the world from vampires?
when Joyce asks her what she's thinking about, which again harkens back to an episode that we'll see in later seasons that I'm realizing they allude to a lot. But I won't tell you what it is yet.
That is, well, way to avoid spoilers because
Yeah.
I'm completely baffled. But I agree. That was a great line. I had a hard time choosing, but I ultimately went with.
I think we should look around, don't you, Xander?
It can wait.
Well, his body could fall out of a closet somewhere. So we should check some closets to see if he's in a closet.
That's cute.
What'd you have for worst line?
The very first lines of the show.
It's an outfit that you may never buy. I look good in it. You looked like a streetwalker, but a thin streetwalker.
So first of all, we're shaming women for how they dress. We're disrespecting sex workers, and we're
Buying into unrealistic
body image issues.
Yeah.
So just all around.
I put when Buffy knocks one of the Gulch brothers out, the other one screams, "That's my brother! Hey, that's my brother!" It was up there with Frank and Beans for me.
Yeah,
it was so like weird and unmotivated. Who'd you have for best dressed?
I loved Buffy's purple tank and purple maxi skirt where they're sluggish in the library.
Yeah, I
liked
think
it.
she looked fantastic.
Mhm.
I went with same scene, Cordy's red cardigan mini skirt and teddy bear backpack.
Oh.
With an honorable mention for whatever outfit Joyce wouldn't let Buffy buy.
There you go.
And who'd you have for worst dressed?
Worst dressed. Oh, the chick in the beginning with the white tights. I'm anti-white tights.
Anytime that comes up,
I don't like it. If there are white tights in the episode, spoiler alert, that's going to be my worst outfit.
Fair enough. I went with Buffy covered in squid ink because again, I just felt like
you wanted it to be gooier.
I just wanted her. Yeah, she's been inside of a
Full goo.
fucking alien prehistoric thing. She should have just been gooed out.
Gooed out.
What did you have for best move? I think I know what you're going to say, and I think I'm going to say the same thing. Let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Grabbing the hat. Yeah, exactly. That was amazing.
I did have a tie.
Okay, cool.
So the hat catch that we're talking about is in the very beginning. The Gulch brother, when they're fighting in the arcade initially, he does like a flippy flu somersaulty thing, and his hat falls off, and he catches it before it hits the ground. I think that stunt person did that and caught it by accident. I don't think that was planned. And they were like, "Did you get that?"
Yeah.
And they kept it.
They kept it. Yeah. That was some Michael Jackson-ass shit there.
Yeah. My honorable mention was just once again, Buffy being so good at using her surroundings that when she's getting pulled into the bazaar, she doesn't panic. She goes, "Let me grab this pickaxe. Thank you so much for pulling me in closer to you. Now I can kill you." Like I love her resourcefulness as a character.
Her awareness of her environment and her using what's in her environment is
great.
One of her defining characteristics, and it's such a fun element to her character.
Agreed.
It makes her such a good Slayer.
Yeah.
And then who did you have for most likely?
Most likely to have a really large therapy bill. Poor Jonathan. Poor Jonathan, because he literally just remains invisible in the school student body like he's a dork, but he just is constantly getting demoned and parasited and beat up and all kinds of stuff, and like no one really offers him support afterwards.
Right. They just kind of move on. We kind of stepped on it, and it's very similar to mine. Most likely to get picked on by every single monster of the week ever, Jonathan. What you don't realize the first time through the show is we're watching his villain origin story.
We really are.
The trauma culminates in him becoming an evil mastermind.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Well, I realized. So funny thing. I think we presume that people who are watching this show are not watching it for the first time, which is why you kind of rib me a little bit every time I say spoilers. But I think it's because I'm thinking of my mom.
Right. Who we know is
who we know has not seen it. So, but she won't remember any of the spoilers, so it's fine.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining us again. Please share this. Please like, subscribe, comment, notification bell, 5-star rating. Check out our Patreon and check out our other show, Kim and Ket Stay Alive Maybe, co-starring her and the hilarious Kim Burns, produced by me. Comes out every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts. Every week they try and survive horror movies, and it's hilarious. And we've been doing that one for a while. That one's the mothership. This is kind of the side project.
The Mother Bazaar, if you will.
Mother Bazaar. And follow them on social media at KKSam Podcast. This show is on social media at Major Slayage Pod. That's all we got. We're back next week, next Monday, for episode 13. We are past the halfway point. We're in the back half here. I don't know what we're in for because I don't remember this at all, but I can't wait to share it with you guys. And that's it.
Yep.
Until next time.
Dust you later.